I don't think mom had ever heard me cursing. And guess who got in trouble? Not y'all for tying me around a tree. Come explore the depths of consciousness, where we raise the vibes and open minds. Welcome to the Grounded Galactic Twins. I'm Allison. I'm Emily. And you'll have to forgive us. We will be giggling probably this whole entire episode because we're going to be talking about twins. Try again. We're going to be talking about twins. Those were fine. Okay. What it's like to be a twin, pros, cons, maybe a few funny stories from childhood. What are our differences, similarities? So many differences. You know, I like guys. I like the ladies. I like one guy. Let me just clarify that. And he's my husband. It's the same for me. I have a wife. You know, or Tom Cruise. What? Listen, okay. I feel like no, but my husband knows this. He knows that if there's ever a chance in hell, okay, Jim Carrey, you know, in the Dumb and Dumber movie when he's like, so you're saying there's a chance? It's a small chance. It's like that. It's like that. If we're the last two people on Earth, I feel like at least he'd let me shake his hand and give me a hug. Who's your celebrity crush? I have a thing for Mariska Hargitay on Law & Order SVU. She's the best. My husband's celebrity crush, I hope I get this right, it's Sandra Bullock. And he also would say a young Betty White. Betty White. Betty. Yeah. We miss her. She was very funny. She was very best. What are some other key differences? I think it's pretty clear. I'm the boy and you're the girl. Girly girl. Uh-huh. And I think that shades a lot of our differences. I mean, I'm not into the sports. I like sports. Most of them. I'm the only one in the family that doesn't like sports. Here's the thing. Okay, listen, y'all need to take me off of the family group text of sports because like I'll get a whoop, hey, Siri at like some random time. And I'm like, I start those group texts. Okay. Don't tell me. I don't like group text. All I know is I'm like, y'all are talking about the game or some game. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. We want you to get in the spirit. Woo pig suey. You're not a real Arkansan. Listen, I will watch them if they're further in the tournament. They got to the Sweet 16 this year. And I didn't know that, but I was asking y'all questions about it. Oh, you were. I was like, what's the score? Who are they playing? It's the Final Four, by the way. Well, the national championship is tonight. And it's Florida and Houston. Oh, okay. We're already past the Final Four. Yeah. See, I don't know. That was on time. And obviously by the time we drop this, it's going to be already done. And y'all will know who the winner is. Who's your go Florida? No, because the SEC. We'll see go Florida too, because I used to live there for a short period of time. And that's where I got pregnant with my baby. Oh, that was giving like ooh face, but then I forgot about that pregnancy. What are some other differences? When we were kids, I would want to play Barbies. You didn't ever want to play Barbies with me. And Mom had these like old Barbies from when she was a kid. Cool stuff, like all the clothes and like the doll, like the house, because it wasn't the traditional Barbie doll house. It was like the first generation green cardboard. Yep, Barbie house. And I just liked the buckle. I like the construction part, putting it together. And that was the funnest thing and you never really played with me. I didn't like imagination play. I would have rather been outside. You played with our brother a lot. Well, and y'all would gang up against me. See, I don't remember that. You don't remember that? Okay, let me enlighten you. I'm going to remind you of this story that I've actually told you recently. Okay. Doesn't mean I still remember it. I was like, I know it was summer because Mom was at home. And it was in the middle of the day. And Dad wasn't there. We were playing outside. And you know that big tree that was by the kitchen window? Mm-hmm. Okay. Y'all took a jump rope or some kind of rope and tied me around the tree against my will. Oh, and I was cursing at y'all. Mm-hmm. And we were young, and I don't think Mom had ever heard me. And I think the kitchen window was open and she heard me cursing. And guess who got in trouble? Not y'all for tying me around a tree against my will. Say those bad words. I got in trouble for cursing at y'all. So what else? What's it been for you? What's it been like for you growing up as a twin and as an adult? I think being a twin, there's always, I don't want to use the word burden because that's not the right word, but there's always this presence, especially when you're around other people, that you tend to get sort of lumped together or
Yes.
for sure confused, even by people who have known you for decades. We're the girls. The girls,
Yeah.
we're the girls. And it doesn't necessarily bother me per se. I think probably in the past it has bothered me some, but we're 41. Oh my, oh, can't remember. It's like 41. Yes.
we're
We're at that
40.
age where I can't remember how old I am. But yeah, when I was younger, it bothered me some. And I think that's part of why when I was a kid, I did intentionally try to differentiate myself from you at times. Not all the time, but yeah, sometimes I would be intentional about being stand out in some type of way, whether that's being a class clown or whatever. But then as we got to be adults, I remember several times where I would get really annoyed with you because I would get a haircut. And a couple weeks later, here you go, getting the same haircut. And I'm like, why would you do that? No plan. I just need a haircut. Could have been you could have like added some bangs. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, if we're like out, around other people, I'm usually wearing makeup and have my hair down. And you usually aren't wearing makeup and you have your hair up a lot more than I do. I don't normally put my hair up. I don't ponytail holders like hurt my scalp.
Yeah, my head hurts right now.
I will say too that sometimes we would get dressed alike when we were young, like kindergarten age. And I was the biggest fan of that.
Yeah.
And I don't even know at the time if I could articulate why, other than I just remember telling our mom, who would set out our clothes in the morning, and telling her, please let me wear something different. And she usually didn't until we got a little bit older. It's just easier. Yeah, I think on her. But well, that's people with kids that are close in age, siblings, they do. It's easier to go to the store and cut your shopping time down by just getting everybody the same. What's the name of that Arkansas family that has like the Duggars? It's not talking about I'm just saying when you see them, a lot of them are wearing the same thing.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for shopping if you have multiple kids, especially if little kids, and you're like, I want to get in and out of the store. She didn't start dressing us alike until we were older and actually tell us apart. Because when we were infants, they couldn't. Although I do have the birthmark that I've obviously had since birth, but I was in purple and you were in pink. And so that's how they would tell us apart as infants is I would, for the most part, wear purple. You were, for the most part, wear pink. That's how other people could tell us apart or whatever. I don't remember any of that. Because we were infants, bro. Well, how do you? Because pictures. And also mom told me that at some point.
Oh, okay.
Because I've heard her telling people like, how did you know the difference when you brought them home from the hospital? How could you tell them apart? Well, I know we wore bracelets for the first few days, I think. Bracelets with our names. It was more than a few days. But, and then I had glasses starting at
You were
cross-eyed. I was born cross-eyed. Okay. Don't remember it. Thankfully, when I was 2, I had to have corrective surgery and I was blind for a couple days. And then at about age 5, I had the cutest little blue framed glasses that I wore. So cute, like 3 years. I think I have a picture of that, of you with your glasses.
I miss those
You
little
sent me,
glasses.
you sent me a picture recently or something.
They were
And
my
then
feeling.
for years as adults, I had glasses way longer than you. And then here you go getting glasses. I don't think I ever tried to intentionally differentiate myself from you, but I would definitely get annoyed when people mix us up, as well as over the years, just constantly calling us the girls instead of Allison and Emily. I think that's just the normal and natural thing to do. They don't know what it's like to be a twin or whatever. I feel like though, if I had like a friend who had 2 twin boys or something, I'd be like, hey, how are the boys? I feel like that's where my brain would go. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I can see that. If they had 2 different age sibling boys, I would say the same thing too. How are the boys? I wouldn't necessarily call it by name. Yeah, but here's the thing is, it's not just that they would say the girls, is they would, in their minds, lump us together in other ways, like at birthdays.
Yeah.
Like at birthdays. Of course, we shared a birthday party, obviously, and we'd have our, eventually we had slightly different friend groups. So we would, everybody would get together and stuff. And that was always super fun. But like, sometimes we'd have people give us cards or whatever with money. And our brother, who had just had his birthday, maybe he'd get a crisp $20 bill. And in our cards, I'd get a 10 and you'd get a 10 from like this same person.
That's
and I'm like,
Franklin.
oh.
And
And you feel bad because as a kid, you're like,
right.
you
And
know,
kids do notice those things.
don't-
I think adults think they're not going to notice, but we do notice. Kids love everyone loves.
so
money.
I felt like, it felt to me like, oh, they love our brother more. It wasn't like, I want more money. It was just
Right.
like, oh, that seems unfair.
2 for 1.
So this is just an aside to parents or aunts and uncles or anybody that knows kids that are twins, triplets, whether they're identical or not. Try your hardest to like learn their names, learn what's different about their personalities, ask them about things specific to them. Try not to get them mixed up. Just be more intentional about that relationship. It's just worse for twins when you dress them alike. If they're siblings and not twins, it's a little bit different. Twins already have that like complex on top of them that they're being treated the same in every other area of their life. If you also then put them in really similar clothes, the effect just magnifies. So
I think the big thing for me was that not as much the getting lumped together, but mine was just when people confuse us. It just makes me feel like I am not known and people can't relate to me. Like, I don't know what it is, but it makes me feel like I'm not my own whole person, especially because I've tried to differentiate myself.
Yeah.
I feel like I've tried to make it obvious who I am. But
that reminds me when you said that about, so this was 3 or 4 years ago, I hired a life coach and I was with her for like 9 months or something. We just covered the waterfront of things in my life, goals that I had and all this type of stuff. And I remember at one point, maybe halfway through our sessions together, I had this epiphany about one of the reasons, or I guess one of the things that maybe has been bugging me subconsciously for years that I wasn't able to articulate in the beginning of our meetings, that I've had this like identity crisis since we were little. And not that it was like I was mad at you about it, but it felt like that I didn't feel whole because it seemed like I'm this half, you're that half, and together we make one instead of I'm one, you're, okay, you won't let me hug you. I don't like people touching me. Emily is not allowed to hug me. And it's this whole thing with her wife is always like hoping that we'll hug. And so sometimes just for your wife, only person that I will do this for is I will give you like a half hug.
gee, thanks, wife.
Because thank you. Because I think it's funny as she thinks it's so funny. Okay, so here's some more differences. What's your favorite food? Tacos. Damn. Okay, I'll say nachos because if I say tacos, then it's the exact same thing. Okay, it's okay. Favorite dessert. Chocolate cake with chocolate icing. So all things chocolate.
Yes.
I'd have to say my favorite. Oh, that's hard. Probably it would be like brownie, like a chocolate brownie. Oh, cake is too light for me. I want something like dense. Yeah. It was some peanut butter frosting. Really good. I make some really good peanut butter frosting. Okay, favorite movie.
Sister Act 2.
Ward Hill. That's a good one.
Oh,
yep. That's a good one. My favorite movie is The Five Heartbeats. Most people watching this will have absolutely no idea what movie that is.
One of the best movies that cover music.
The Motown experience.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, what was it like for the Four Tops and those type of Motown male groups. Well, and female groups too, because there's some of that in the movie. But we would rent that movie every time that they would let us go rent a movie on like Fridays or video games. I would be like, can I get that one? Can I get that one? And so I have it on VHS now, and I have the soundtrack too. I love it. I love it.
That's why I like Sister Act 2 so much.
We both like movies with music.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. So same, but also different.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Can't think of any other questions right now. But
favorite place you would want to travel you've never traveled?
Egypt.
Ooh, mine would probably be Switzerland.
Why?
Because of its location, and it's bordered by France and Italy and Germany, and I would do this whole gamut of the countries.
Okay.
Okay, I would want to see the pyramids, obviously. I definitely want to
the
go.
Sphinx.
Yes.
All of everything everything.
Yes. I really want to try this Spain to Morocco because there's a land bridge, I think, between the two. I think, and that would be really cool.
Yeah, never heard of that.
Sounds cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can I paint my nails really quick?
Okay. We're trying to do a podcast.
I guess.
Sure.
I don't have enough time to do it later, and
Double
we're just
duty.
talking.
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
I actually have my nail polish here.
Wow.
So here's mine. This one's Krampus. Isn't that pretty?
Nice.
All right, you can pick my color, but these are the fast drawing ones. These short skinner ones. So out of these 5 colors,
Out of those 5 colors.
Yeah.
Green, 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 blue, 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 green, green, green. This one.
blue and green. Okay, let me tell you something about this one. This one stains. And when I try to take it,
Why did you put it into my choice options then?
okay, we'll go traditional pink. Okay, pink, hot pink. Matches my pen. But yeah, we'd go up to like Arby's or Sonic, and I'd be like telling my kids, pick out my meal for me, whatever you pick up. But kids, you give them a choice. You give them a choice, and you say you can pick between this meal, or this meal. So that's not totally wackadoodle. But the first few times I did that, I didn't have that strategy. And so my oldest would pick something. They know that if I would be like, I need you to do either number 1, number 3, or number 5. Do not pick number 6. And of course, they're going to pick number 6. So you secretly kind of also want them to pick number 6, So you got to have a little bit of
Reverse psychology.
Okay. Interesting.
So what's with the earrings you're wearing today? Did those get picked out by yourself?
I picked them out.
Okay, well, let me see. They're cat. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. Actually, these are handmade. I got them from me and the hubby went to a cat show. Cat fanciers or something. Yeah. Everything's came into my mind when you said cat show. I'm like, don't worry.
What's involved in a cat show?
Oh, you know what I mean? Like a dog show, but for cats.
Oh, I've honestly never heard of that. I didn't even know that was a thing. But
it was the first one I've ever been to. They don't normally come around here. And so when I saw it on Facebook, I was like, holy crap, 30 minutes down the road, I can go see a bunch of cats. I have 2 cats and I love them dearly. One of them is sick right now and is quarantined, and that's been an absolute nightmare. Snail polish, I haven't used it in a while. It's pretty
yucky.
So let's pick a different one.
Okay, pick that red one that was sitting next to it.
Red one. That is one of our differences. You love cats.
Yes. That's not red, bro. Well, it's less pink, more dark towards the red area.
I'm not a big fan of cats. Listen. Let me tell you why. Okay.
When we were kids, we had a few cats. We never could keep them long because we lived on a highway, so they met in a tragic end usually.
Yeah.
But we had one cat, it was like a Garfield cat, an orange cat. And I remember I was like 4 or 5, and it was sitting under
what cat
is
this?
It was an orange cat that we had for a very short name. I don't know. I just know he looked like Garfield because he was orange. And I remember him very specifically because he's the reason I don't like cats. Okay. When I went to go pet him, he was sitting under a desk or something, minding his own business. And me being a kid, I'm like, pet the cat. And the cat just immediately
probably weren't gentle.
I don't remember, obviously. I just remember trying to get to the cat, and it was underneath something already, and it came out and jumped on my head and just like went crazy on my head and scalp, and I just was scratched up like on the forehead and my scalp. I just remember crying and screaming, and I don't remember anything else after that. I think we got rid of that cat, or either way, it didn't last for very long because they're not on the highway.
But you are my cats.
I do like, well, I liked Sassy, the cat you had previously, so very sweet.
So sweet.
Charlie's a sweet boy, but he's just so in and out. I don't hardly ever see him. And Renee, I'm not sure about Renee yet. I haven't spent enough time with her.
She's skittish because she lived outside for a really long time. So
you have to let her come to you.
Okay, so here's something interesting about cats and dogs. We have to go galactic a little bit in these episodes, even though this is about twins. So dogs are like
sweet babies.
Obviously, they give their humans unconditional love. And this is why dog is God spelled backwards, right? A lot of people have heard that analogy. And that's why, like, really good. It's not a mistake that dog and God are like flipped, because they give unconditional love to their humans. Have you ever thought about
My
that?
wife wouldn't say that. I agree. Well, it depends on the disposition of the individual dog, but for the most part, most dogs are very unconditionally loving towards their humans. Dogs are like the protectors of humans in the physical world, right? Cats are the protectors and companions of humans in the energetic world. So they're interdimensionally doing work on your behalf. Don't laugh. Okay. Honestly, they are. And they purr and they sit on you and that vibration, that frequency of them purring helps reset your system and your energetic, like, you know what I'm saying? Well, that makes sense because I heard of some research recently or read something about, when humans hum, it helps
It's just like
sort of
oming.
soothe the nervous system.
Yeah,
And
it's like
oming, that makes sense. Healing with vibrational frequency. So if your cat's on you, like and purring, then they're trying to help reset you. And my cat, Charlie, so he's an indoor outdoor cat. He loves escaping interdimensionally from me. I tell you, one time I was calling for him, and this was in the middle of the fall, and we have trees everywhere, and there are crunchy leaves over every square inch of the daggum yard. And I'm calling him, and okay, this is going to get really wacky, but I also will communicate with him telepathically. And I've talked to you about this before. And I even told you a funny story last time you were over here.
Wait, what's he saying right now?
No, it's not, it's images.
What is he showing you right now?
That he wants to get out of his quarantine room and go outside because he's been up in quarantine since 5 days or whatever. No, but he, and I've heard this from other people too, that they have noticed this about their cats, that they were literally pop out of thin air. And it's like, where did they come from? Like literally, you look, there's not a cat. You look 2 milliseconds later, there's a cat right there. Where did it come from? And he did this to me like several times, but I remember specifically one time I was calling him, and I was projecting like, come home, like an image of us cuddling in the bed and him being all warm and all this kind of stuff. Cause that would get them from the interdimensional realm. Okay. Cause they can't hear you when you're calling them.
Cuddles.
Listen.
A cuddle call.
And so I saw him in the middle of this leaf pile walking towards me, but I never heard him how he got into the middle of the leaf pile. Like, I don't know. It's like he just poofed in. Where did he come from? I should have heard him walking from a long ways away, and I didn't. It was like he was just right there. Okay.
That's creepy.
So yeah, cats are protectors in the energetic world, and dogs are like our unconditional loving little gods.
Interesting.
Yeah. People ask us the same questions a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sisters?
Yeah.
Are you twins? Did you ever play tricks on your teachers?
Tried.
All the We didn't try that.
I wanted to,
Well, we didn't actually do it.
but you were lame.
Teachers are not dumb. They're not going to fall for that. I actually taught a set of twins in a resource room, and they probably could have pulled one over on me the first few days, but it didn't take long for me to differentiate them. They looked exactly alike too, had the same haircut. And me being a twin, I was trying to be really conscious about not calling them the wrong name, trying to do everything to just get their attention or talk to them without having to use their names. We also would get, can you read each other's minds kind of thing. Are we telepathic?
Are we?
Shouldn't we be? Well, we do have secret words that are only for us.
That's true. Not say them.
I'm not going to say them. You don't say them.
You-
I mean, there's one in particular that I don't think I've ever said to anybody but you.
Yeah, I don't think
It wouldn't be relevant to anybody else.
so. It'd be like
It's like an inside thing.
you're talking gibberish.
You spell it wrong.
You spell it wrong.
I created the word. Therefore, I get to determine the spelling of the word. So we do have secret like words in that sense, but we're not like mind reading each other all the time or anything like that. But I do think we tend to have a lot of the same thoughts at the same time. I think we can I think we know what each other's thinking though. But that's just, I think, a product of right, knowing each other our whole lives and being friends, Yeah. Just like, couples can finish each other's sentences. It's kind of the same exact same thing. Like, and a lot of times I'll go to text you and then all of a sudden you text me like right then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Even if it's like at a weird time of the day. I don't know if it was a documentary or if it was just part of some other reality show, but there were these twin women who, I don't know, I think they were in their 30s.
Mhm.
And they would talk on the phone all day long. And there were also
They were also neighbors, and so when they weren't talking on the phone, they were just over at each other's house. I don't think we'll ever get there.
No, maybe when we're like older or something, if we ever live together for whatever reason.
Yeah.
When we're 90 and we need to take care of each other, basically.
But you can't have cats. I was just about to say, you'll have to be okay with cats. A cat approved. I have to approve the cat. A cat. Fine. Okay. I'll even let you name the cat. Oh, Skittles. Okay. You can't name a cat until you know the cat first. Whatever. Okay. All right. So I have a surprise.
Okay.
So one of these things that we used to do as kids, especially as teenagers, and also like I feel like we've done this recently, is we would try to read each other's minds, even though, you know what I'm saying? So I have a deck of cards.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel like we're bad at this.
Okay. I have wet nails. Just give me a sec.
You didn't really think that through,
I
did you?
did. Okay. Well, where are you? Have to get up. Just this way.
Ah.
They're under my phone. It's cute too because they're star map cards.
Oh.
It's like constellations on each card.
So cool.
Can you open it?
Okay.
Because it's a tin can
And cards.
Okay. Shuffle them. Shuffle them. This is what we used to do all the time.
Okay.
How many do you think we've ever gotten correct?
Like a 0?
No, I think it's 0. I feel like on some camping trips, maybe we were extra in tune then. But I have an extra tool for us.
Okay.
Okay, this is my one of my channeling crystals.
Okay.
It's a rose quartz egg.
Oh, fancy.
It's so beautiful. The first time I got this crystal, I don't remember exactly what shop I got it in because honestly, anytime me and my husband travel anywhere, we go to a crystal shop.
Here, poor husband.
So I don't, whatever. Where's the crystal shop in this town? If you go downtown to the places we go, there's a crystal shop somewhere. A lot of the places we go. But there was, of course, this crystal shop had all kinds of crystals, all kinds of shapes. And so if you know anything about crystals, you don't just pick one up and you take it. Like you have to see what you're drawn to. You have to feel the energy. You have to be like attuned to that crystal. So I knew I wanted rose quartz. I knew going in that I was lacking some rose quartz in my life. So I knew I was going for that, but they had all kinds of different shapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw that egg, I was like, that's perfect for holding right in your hand when you're trying to be intuitive and channeling.
Okay.
And there was a huge just container of a whole bunch of them. And I was like, okay, which one? Which one? Which one?
Conflicted.
Yeah. And so I picked up a few and then I picked up this one. And as soon as I picked it up, I felt this hot tingling in my palm. And it was just like, this is the one. And I handed it to my husband and I was like, Harry, you be him. Be gentle. I will. I was like, don't you feel it? He was like, no. Don't you feel it? I'm trying to feel. I still feel it.
Feel some tingling.
Even though, see,
that was
even though I'm not holding it anymore, I'm still feeling it since I just held it. I'm feeling it area in my palms. It's amazing. Okay, how do we use it? Okay, so are you going to be the guesser? Why don't you? I'll be the guesser.
You're closely connected to it.
Of course.
Okay, now
Put your little hand on top of the deck or something. Bless it or something. That's not how we would normally do it. We would just pick out a card.
Okay.
And like I would,
All right. I'm just gonna.
you would hold it up. Like, okay, hold it to the camera so I can't see it. So I'll just look at it. And then if you guess it or not, I'll show it to the camera. Jeez, fine. Okay. Okay. So,
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna make you have a guess, and then I'm about to tell you something. This particular card. Okay.
well, I feel like I know it's a face card now
I'm gonna be sending it to you.
because I feel like you would say that about a face
Yes.
card. You just gave me a clue.
Your logic. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm supposed to be trying to transmit this.
Yes. So like, let's pretend here's the way we need to do it.
Okay.
Project it from your third eye area into my third eye area. Okay. No, it's in the very center in your head. In the very center.
Yeah.
Like in this area, but like back in the center.
Oh.
Not at the front. The pineal gland. Okay. Okay. So project the image of the card to me. 7 of diamonds. Can I project it first before you guess? Oh, okay. I already were.
Oh, not
Fine.
really. I'm just trying to
Okay.
figure out how to use my third eye. Maybe you'll glance.
You just feel it.
Let me close my eyes. Maybe that will help.
Okay. Visualize.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jack of hearts.
Nope, but that's pretty close.
Okay.
The King of Hearts.
The King of hearts.
The King of Hearts.
Okay.
Oh, this card is represented by Cancer.
The crab.
The crab. When I was high school age, I remember one night spending the night at our maternal grandmother's home. I was sleeping in her bed. She was on the couch. She always slept on the couch. And I remember this because I had a deck of cards with me and I was just kind of like killing time. I couldn't fall asleep. And I was trying to, I think in that time of my life, I was really trying to like find myself, find my identity, and also like have this connection with God or a higher power or something outside of myself. So I had this deck of cards and I kept like shuffling it and trying to draw a particular card out of the deck. And it was the King of Hearts that I was trying to pick out of the deck.
Why that one?
Because I had heard something recently about it was represented by Charlemagne. There's something I had heard recently about it.
By who?
Charlemagne. King Charlemagne. And it's it's known as the Suicide King in the deck.
Oh,
And I think I was also drawn to that because I was having kind of an identity crisis. And so that card had other sort of meaning for me at that time. And I kid you not, I would shuffle the deck. I would just spread the cards out. And I pulled that card out like 7 times in a row. Every now and again, like if we're
creepy.
it was. And I immediately knew I was like, first of all, what's the sorcery?
And then just pulled that card.
I did. But I've done that kind of time to time over the years. And it always comes up if I'm going to play poker, going to play cards, and like someone shuffling the deck, and I can sometimes see the bottom of the deck, and it's like freaking King of Hearts is exposed all the time.
That's crazy, bro.
Was try again. Okay. First shuffle. Okay. I also tend to draw out the 10 of clubs. So I'm really curious.
Oh, God. What's next?
I guess we'll see.
That's enough shuffle.
Needs to be properly shuffled.
Okay, let me like fan them out and I'll touch a card and that'll be the one.
Okay, they're fan. Okay, so this one, whichever that one is.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, are you looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Project it to me.
Okay.
It is I feel like it's either. I'm going to say 2 and they're very different. Because the first thing I got was a 5 of clubs. But then I got like a 6. So what is
the 4 of clubs?
Please shit.
The 4 of clubs. Your first intuition was right. You were 1 off.
Okay. Okay, like let's switch and we'll do one more.
Okay.
You're holding the egg.
Shuffle them.
Don't contaminate my egg with negative energy. You have to hold it in your left hand.
Why the left hand?
You receive energy on the left side and you give energy through your right hand. I've heard somebody say that once, and I sure hope I don't have it backwards, but you know, it's something about the left side of your body, right side of your body, the energetics.
Oh.
You receive on the left, you give on the right.
Was that maybe because of the interesting? Well, your heart pumps out the left. I'm just trying to figure out physiologically where that connection might be.
Maybe because most people are right-handed and they give with their right hand. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay, shuffle those cards.
Okay. I can't do the fancy shuffle because I think my nails are still a little wet. Do you want to touch the card first?
Let's you pick.
Okay, I'll pick.
Okay.
All right, I'm projecting.
9 of hearts.
No,
I'm guessing that's nowhere near.
Nowhere near. It's the King of Spades.
Wow. Okay.
But it's the Aquarius card, which is our star sign.
I feel like the spade upside down looks like a heart. I feel like I should.
Oh, okay.
You're reaching.
Okay. Hold on. Let me shuffle.
All right. And okay. All right. Okay, try hard.
Really? Okay, imagine there is a beam of light, a beam of white light going from my pineal gland to yours. And in that white light, I am projecting to you this image. What you get? We can't just be silent. This is a podcast.
I'm trying to see the light. I'm going to say it's a Jack of Hearts.
Okay. Okay. What's the constellation?
I was seeing like the number, like a side by side number 11, and I'm thinking that's why I thought Jack, because 10 is above Jack, 11 is above 10.
It's a 10.
Okay.
Of clubs, and it's the Hercules constellation.
Oh, okay. I also tend to draw out the 10 of clubs.
we would do this stuff for long periods of time, trying to figure out how many we could get. And I think with these things other than cards too, it's not coming to mind. Like we would like put a number on a piece of paper and be like, guess the number. So we would do that. Give me my egg. It's when it's sweating. I'm going to have to cleanse this later.
I feel like your pineal gland must be more clear than mine.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
But you had to transmit. So maybe your transmissions were clear enough for me to receive. Hand me the 10, please.
Oh, 10.
Okay, I kid you not. As soon as we stopped the recordings a minute ago, I was like, let's try the card thing again. And we weren't holding the crystal. And you were the one doing the guessing. I was just like, hey, what's this card? And I kid you not. So the first card, and I have them set out here, the first card that I drew was the 4 of spades. And you guessed the 4. But it wasn't the suit. You got
diamond.
The suit wrong.
Yeah, I said.
That's right. You said diamond.
Yeah.
And check it out.
Very diamondy.
I mean, the suit of it is a spade, but it's the reticulum constellation. And so there's an image of a diamond on the card. So I'm like, that counts. And then the next card I drew it and I hadn't even had time to project it to you. And you're like, it's a 7. And it was not a 7. Okay. But it's a 2. Okay. And then the very next one, I was like, okay, what is it? And you said it's a 2. And I'm like, no, we're not the previous card anymore. Even though you didn't know it was a 2 that I had drawn. But so I was holding this. And so this was the card that I was holding and projecting to Emily. And she got it 100% exactly right. She's like, it's a 9. I'm like, yes, it's a 9. Yeah, you guessed also that it was clubs. And I was like, why does this happen when we've stopped the camera? You were more relaxed. There wasn't all this pressure. What?
I was going to say, we could draw random objects and see if we know what the object is.
Okay. We'll do like one round of that. We're doing it right now.
Okay. Well, okay. What's my object?
Your object is it's an animal. I feel like it's an animal.
I guess it could be interpreted as that.
What animal would you think it would be?
A dog. I was just thinking a dog.
He's talking to a dog.
Okay, before we reveal mine, I think yours is. Well, now I'm thinking animals. I said that, but it's probably not an animal. It's not a house.
No.
Okay. I drew a spiral.
I drew a pepperoni pizza.
I thought I was going to give it away, but
you going?
I know. I was thinking a circle or something, and you came up with dog.
You said we're drawing an object. That's a shape.
Which is the first thing that came to my mind. The spiral is an object.
How could a spiral possibly be an animal?
Right in.
Shit. So literally anything? It can be a thing. Anything.
Okay. All right. What you got?
We need to say it at the same time.
Okay. Wait, let me think of what yours will be.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like this is wrong, but okay.
On 3.
1, 2, 3.
A ring.
A ring, huh? No. A stick person. Stick figure.
I made a flower. Let's just stop while we're behind.
We tried it again.
We never talked about our first day of kindergarten.
First day of kindergarten.
So remember how that went?
I remember you telling this story recently because I don't remember the actual day, but supposedly we didn't go to the right classroom.
No,
our dad dropped us off and took us to different classrooms, and they were across the hall from each other.
That's pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And our mom was a kindergarten teacher, so that's why dad took us on our first day, and
he just didn't know where to drop us.
So we ended up in the wrong classroom, and then it got figured out a little later.
I think we only spent one day in the wrong classroom. And the thing that I think is the funniest about it is probably all throughout the day, I was being called Emily and you were being called Allison. And we didn't correct our teacher. I remember being like, especially when we started school, being very intimidated by my teachers just because I wanted to be like the good kid. I wanted it to be the good kid. I didn't want to speak out and talk. I was very, very, very shy. So I probably was just like, okay, I'm Emily. But yeah, we went through the whole day. And I think mom had said something like, oh, how'd you like it in so-and-so's class that night? I think that's how we figured it out.
Probably.
And I was like, I wasn't in her class. Yeah. That mixed us up that first day.
See,
pretty sure. And obviously, we've talked about one of our major differences is I've had a lot of alien experiences and you have not.
0. I have not.
And you have a doctorate degree.
I do.
I do not. I don't even have a master's. I do have a bachelor's, but I didn't get it the first time around in school because I dropped out halfway through to move to Florida and that didn't work out.
No.
You abandoned me. Instant. I was only there for like 9 months. So wasn't too long.
It was a long time when you're a young 20-something person and your twin just leaves.
You're fine. You're fine now. But now you got a beautiful niece out of that trip to Florida.
Speaking of the niece, I remember when you called me, I was house sitting for a family friend. And I knew instantly because we didn't talk a whole lot while you were gone. One,
Yeah.
because you
I
abandoned
had 2 jobs. I was busy, 2 jobs.
You were busy. We didn't talk a whole lot. But you called me and it was like kind of early-ish in the morning and I was still like laying in bed. And as soon as you called me, I just knew you were going to tell me you were pregnant. And so in my mind, this name came to my head. And I was like, this is going to be the name of the child. And then some time had passed.
I think you told me this part.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well,
I
whatever.
don't remember.
I don't remember you predicting the name.
I didn't. I just was thinking this would be a nice name for this child. And that's just the first name that came to my mind intuitively. And then lo and behold, you named your child that same name.
You're making it up.
I'm not making it. I remember where I was at, the time of day, what I was doing.
I was very consumed in other things in my life at that time. I probably was not paying attention to what anyone was saying. Do we have any other funny twin stories?
Let's see.
Hmm.
Do you remember, speaking of this, I don't know why I want to talk about this, but when we all dressed up as 7 dwarfs after Snow White came out, do you remember what dwarf you were?
I think I was sleepy.
You were sleepy. Guess which one I was?
You were Doc.
I was Doc.
Because I can see the picture in my head.
Yeah, with my glasses. I think
Yeah.
that's why I ended up being Doc.
I think I was sleepy and I fell asleep during the movie because we were like
Appropriate.
5. And when Snow White came out, it was a huge deal. So,
Yeah.
like us and our cousins and stuff, we got 7 kids together and the moms and all went to go see Snow White. And I think a lot of us ended up falling asleep because for a 5-year-old in a dark theater.
Yeah,
It was a lot.
I remember standing huddled up, taking the picture outside the movie theater beforehand, but I don't remember after that.
Okay.
Other like rapid fire things you want to do?
Well, I threw a bunch of questions at you earlier. You gonna throw some at me?
Favorite color?
Green, blue. What kind of blue though?
Cerulean.
Oh, that's a great color.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
best crayon.
That's that's why I know that word.
Mine is emerald green. Emerald green.
Okay.
But icky green, but emerald. Because I love the trees.
Okay. Mountains, oceans.
Mountains.
Yeah, I think mountains too. Even though we're supposed to be like in the water a lot because of our sign, right?
We're an air sign.
We're an air sign, but
we're the water bearer.
right.
I don't know. Water's great for healing. I don't like salt water. And I hate
That's a strong
sand.
Yeah, not big on sand.
So if we were to do like a beach that wasn't a bunch of sand, when the water isn't salty, then yeah, that's great. But yeah, I'm a mountain. I want to hike. I want to maybe see a bear. I want to listen to the crickets and the frogs and in the woods. It's great.
Mountains and lakes.
And they're just majestic.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else.
And a mountain is like a giant crystal. Because if you think about it, it's made of stone. It's comprised of all kinds of the minerals and they're ancient. So it's probably one of the reasons why I like mountains too. It's like a big crystal.
Okay. What side of the bed do you sleep on?
The left side.
I sleep on the right side.
Now, if you and I are sleeping in a bed together, I used to be on the right side. Like when we'd spend the night at grandma's house, I would want the right side.
Why?
Because it's the farthest away from the door.
My wife is the same as you on that. And we're getting ready to move. And I'm like, I want to be on this side now. And she's like, no,
you can't switch sides when you've established a side. That's
no, because she doesn't want to be the side closest to the door.
Well, we have 2 doors in our bedroom now, but the door that I'm closest to just goes into the living room and the door he's closest to goes out to the garage. And so to me, I'm like, that's the more dangerous door. But
Yeah.
it's closer to outside, kind of. So.
Top 2 hobbies.
Top 2 hobbies?
Hobbies or pastimes.
Well, I love reading.
Reading's great. Not big on reading.
People don't read enough. We have a bookshelf almost in every single room of our house. And besides this one behind us, our bookshelves are rainbow colored, coordinated, arranged. Because my closet is. You can find things a lot easier that way, especially if you know what the color of the book is that you're going for, and you don't want to search through all things. Forget the Dewey Decimal System. What else? I love stargazing. I love meditating and talking with aliens.
Oh, word.
What about you?
The first thing that comes to mind is I love playing poker, and it's more about the people, and I love being able to.
But Texas Hold'em.
Yes, Texas Hold'em for sure. I like other types of poker as well, but usually when we play, it's Texas Hold'em. And really more, it's about the camaraderie and just being around the table and having fun playing a game. So I like games. We can say games. Game specifically.
Board games.
And I think the other thing is probably like hiking, just being out in nature. I don't do that enough. I'm so glad spring is springing and we're getting ready to have nicer weather and can spend more time outside.
What's your favorite trail?
Ooh, so many good trails. I think there are a lot of really great trails up on Mountain Nebo.
Wait, did you say Mountain Nebo?
It's
Nebo?
Mount, but I say mountain, but it's not. Mount Nebo. Mount Nebo. Pettit Jean, of course, has great trails. Actually, my wife and I went hiking maybe 3 weeks ago at Pettit Jean, and we went. I thought I had hiked every trail there. I have not. Yeah, so I went down a trail, and I was like, "Where's this go?" And it was really, it was a tough trail. It was.
Was it the one that goes to the big, huge cave thing?
No, but it was almost as tough as the Cedar Falls Trail. Like it was you're going way down and coming back up. But it was really neat, and there were a lot of spots along the way where we could sit and watch the water run. And
I bet you were on part of the BSA trail.
Maybe. I don't know what it was called, but it was lovely.
Nice.
Yes. And of course, the trails at Woolly Hollow.
Okay. Yeah. Woolly Hollow.
But
we pretty much grew up there.
We did. Yeah. Great place.
I'm not a fan now that people are riding their bikes around where the trails are at. And Pettit Jean has that now too. And Mount Nebo. I don't remember if Mount Nebo has that. But yeah, but a lot of these parks out here wanted to make it more accessible for people. And I get it, but it's like, if I want to go on a nature walk, I don't want to have to intercept with bikers, and they don't want to have to intercept with us. It's just, it makes things noisy. And then there's more damage to the beautiful nature because your bike trails are generally a lot more wide and flat, and they have to do more. I think that's one of those excavation and all this. So it's just one of those things, unfortunately, where these parks just lack resources constantly, and they need to generate more revenue. So let's bring in the biker crowd, I get it, but yeah, it's pros and cons. Okay. Hold up. We have talked about this for a really long time. We don't have any big questions for this episode.
Maybe we should.
But okay. Do we have a big question?
My big question is, do you have a question?
Oh my gosh. I just said I don't.
I think one thing, though, that we can take away and kind of come back to that you mentioned early on is just about if you're a parent, for example, or a relative of twins or multiples in general, to just try to be mindful as best you can to, not lump them together, and just be aware and listen if they're vocal about that they don't want to be lumped together. And everyone wants to have their own identity, regardless of if they're a multiple or not. So just encourage that individuality, and that it's okay to be yourself. And, hey, there are plenty of twins out there, though, that love being like exactly alike and dressing the same. That's their thing. Like, totally. I get that. So, encourage whatever the child wants to be encouraged on. It's the takeaway, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not a question. Just a comment.
Yeah.
Word.
So Tom Cruise, if Tom Cruise and Mariska Hargitay had babies,
can I have some of those babies?
You're 41 years old. Why would you want to be dealing with a baby, you weirdo?
Because I never had a baby.
Oh, like as a child.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm so confused.
What? But those are celebrity crushes.
Yes.
And I thought you were going to if there was a younger version, they're going to make cute babies. That's all I would say. Why are you touching? Because don't stop talking. You interrupted me. I was talking to Tom Cruise.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Which you know, he'll probably never, ever, ever, ever listen to our podcast. But if he does, can I just like give you a hug? That's all I care about.
That's what you wanted to say? Can I give you a hug?
Yes, because I think that we would have this energetic connection on physical touch of a hug.
I'm glad you were saying
It's like, I don't know. It's kind of like that. It's like heart to heart, third eye to third eye. It's great.
Okay, great.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise.
I have something also to say to you.
Okay, you better not be rude. You gotta
Love your movies.
films. Okay.
Big fan of Far and Away. I think that's my favorite.
It's a good one.
Great movie.
The Mission Impossible franchise, though, is they're getting ready to come out with the last one. Like,
I'm not big on action movies, but you have that. It's good.
they're so good. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. That's it. We're done.
We did it.
We did it.
This time with just one mic.
Wow.
Let's see how that turns out.
Okay. Bye-bye for now.
See ya.